Good morning, this is Hutch here. I'm not sitting on the beach at Clifton, I'm in the kitchen of my apartment at home. And today I'm going to do something which is a little unusual for me. I've never done this before, so hopefully it'll work out okay. Instead of talking about fishing today, I'm going to talk about bait. And it's something which I discovered only last week, so this is really quite hot off the press sort of thing. Now I don't know whether you get these in England or not, but New Zealand green-lipped mussels are world famous. They're absolutely beautiful, and they are nothing like the English blue-lipped mussels. Allow me to show you. I've just been to the supermarket and bought this bag. The price on them is $4.35, which converted into English money is exactly £2. Now, I don't know whether that's a lot of money to buy bait in England or not, because I left England 42 years ago, so I really don't know. But have a look at the size of these. These are green-lipped mussels. The name is pretty obvious. They are absolutely solid with meat. They are magnificent. To eat, fantastic. But there's a part of them which it's my belief would make a very, very good bait. Now, if you get these in England, I'll show you what I'm going to do, and then you may like to try it yourself. But I'm just going to get 4 of them, and I'm actually got 4 of them, and I'm going to put them in the freezer and freeze those solid. But before I do that, I need to put them in some fresh water. Now they will absorb that fresh water, and then when I freeze them, they will come out in a solid lump, and it's so easy to do, I'll explain later. With these other ones, it's handy, I'm now going to stand these up in a pot. This is not a cooking lesson, although they will end up being eaten. So we'll see what happens. Turn this on high, shove those on there. Now we'll give them a bit of a scald with some water. Right, here we have the mussels. They're just coming to the boil, and already you will see the shells are opening. Now we've got a pretty standard mussel. Open the shell, there it is there. Just by pulling it out, what we've actually got is that's the actual, where it gets its name from. That's the mussel that holds the shell together. If I just show you quickly with a couple, just pull them open and pull the mussel out. And remove that. From there, we're going to take the mussel. Well, this one's actually still got the mussel in it, so we'll pop that one out. Now we'll open it up, and you see it's got a little bit of seaweed inside growing actually off of it. Now this is the part we're interested in. Now if I grab that between my thumb and forefinger, with my thumb on this hand, I'm just going to hold this lovely white piece of flesh down and pull. And what happens is we remove this part. Now we don't want that little bit of seaweed, so we'll get rid of that. Now as far as I'm concerned, that is a beautiful little bit of enticing looking bait. And when I was writing about this recently, I actually put in the article that it reminds me of a baby crayfish, or in England what you would call a lobster. It's got the body, which is virtually the right colour, and it's got the 2 main claws. It really is a good imitation of a crayfish. So what would we do with those? Now we have, by cooking it, we've spoilt it a wee bit because we've boiled all of the natural juices out of it, although in doing so we've firmed it up. That really is quite a nice firm bait. So what I intend to do is, when I've shucked all these, I'm going to lay them down, and with a needle or a sharp knife I'm going to actually prick the body in several places. Now nothing's come out. Now with these I'm going to put them in a small jar, and with the jar I'm then going to top it up with burley fish oil. Now the reason for all those holes becomes obvious. It will absorb this fish oil, and it now becomes a truly acceptable bait to most fish. I know in the UK with the fish, I mean, my memory's not that bad. Most of the fish that we used to catch over there, whiting, cod, would love a feed of this. If you're fishing for smaller fish, then one on a hook would, just a small hook would be ideal. If you're fishing for bigger fish, then 2 or 3 of them would be ideal. But just to demonstrate what I mean, I've got a small hook here, because I know in the UK especially, you tend to use smaller hooks than we do here when general fishing. Well, I'm just going to thread that through the body, bring it out through the centre of the legs and just feed it up a hook. Now you tell me, you make your own mind up. Is that a nice looking bait or is it not? I mean, it could be taken for anything. It could be taken for a baby squid. It could be taken for anything. But the important part is, if you've soaked it in a nice fish oil, it will be leaching off a beautiful burley trail, and it's going to lead the fish right into that. I've actually tied a 3-hook clip down flapper rig, and they're all with this same small size hook on, and I'm going to have an experiment with it. But I don't care what anybody says, that to me is a very appetising looking bait, and with 2 or 3 of them up the trace, I find it hard to believe a fish would find that resistible. So there you are. So I'll just put that to one side, and I'll show you again, because this is the part which is a little bit people may have problems with. This is the hard part here. We take that between the thumb and forefinger, put the thumb of the other hand on this white part here, and just pull it out. Look at that. Nothing could be easier, and what a beautiful little bait. So easy to do. On there, pull, done. On there, pull, done. There you are. Would you like those through? We'll just nip those off. We really don't want that piece of seaweed on there. We'll throw that away. Now then, to me that's magnificent bait, and I'm quite confident fish would think the same way. You sit it on a hook, you've seen how easy it is to make. Now all I would do is drop them into a small pot. Of course, we've now got the problems with these. These mussels are absolutely beautiful, fresh out the shell. Well, it would be rude not to, wouldn't it? Oh. Absolutely beautiful. Right, so here we've got the finished product. We've got a pint of stock ready for another meal. Here we've got the finished product as far as the bait is concerned, nestling in a bath of oil. I was going to put them in a jar, but I wasn't totally confident that it was oil proof, so I can seal that in a Tupperware container, and then hopefully it will, yeah, no problem. So that's now going to, until I go fishing, that's now going to soak. that leaves us with one more thing to do. Now that's the actual product that I went out and purchased, so we should make the most of it. A splash of vinegar over the top, as one does. A sprinkle of salt to make up for the salt water we boiled out of them. Of course, it'd be rude not to add a bit of pepper. And then usually, as I've done that, I'll give it just a little bit more vinegar to wash that flavouring around. Good afternoon, this is Hutch here again. The work I did yesterday on the mussels, I've shown you all of that for bait, but I told you that I'd put a few away in the freezer to freeze overnight. Now I've just got a couple out, you can see they've got ice on them, they really are frozen solid. What I'm going to do is just run them under the tap, hot water, just for a minute or two. And this will encourage the end to open up. Now what we're going to do, you need a very blunt knife. For goodness sake, don't use a sharp knife when you're doing this. We're going to slide it inside the mussel and cut that mussel that we showed, that I showed you yesterday, that runs through it. And we should now be able to open them up. Right, there's one side. Now we get to the other side, we're just going to slide it down. This is why you definitely don't want a sharp knife. It would be very easy to cut yourself. One absolutely frozen solid mussel, as good a bait as you can get anywhere. We'll just do the same with the other one. Actually, normally they come out a little bit easier than that, but these are very big mussels. So again, we're going to work from the green lip end, work that in, find the mussel and cut it. That one's come out a bit easier. So we can actually peel off that side. On the other side, find the mussel. You can see the mussel there. There it is right there. But we're going to cut that, and it should lift out of the shell. That's absolutely solid. You could make 2 baits out of that, no trouble whatsoever, or with a 4050 hook, then you've got an excellent bait. Frozen solid, bait elastic up there, keep a hook in the top and just cast it out, and you've got the absolute perfect bait. There, 2 of them, couldn't ask for better. I hope you found these tips useful. It's been a pleasure sharing them with you. Thanks a lot for watching. Catch up with me on the beach next time.